Hello everyone and welcome to another video tutorial. Today I'm going to cover eyes, and we're going to cover them in a really simple sort of way. This isn't like a detailed eye drawing, this is just trying to get eyes to look really good, really fast, because I like speed and efficiency. Yeah, I don't like to mess around too much. So, to begin with, when you draw an eye, well, I'll just demonstrate. There are actually several different types of eye, or eyes, and depending on race and all that. So you gotta, if you want to learn how to draw faces, you're gonna have to learn the different types of eyes. Just look at different cultures. Just draw lots of faces. You'll start to figure out common trends. So there's a couple. I have a guide open right now, and I'm just gonna use that as a reference, basically. It is always helpful to look up like an eye guide or like makeup guides, because they usually have different eye shapes, and then you can just use those to help you learn the different types of eye shapes. So the first type of eye shape, typically the easiest way you're going to do this is to draw a circle when you start off, instead of drawing it randomly. And if you want to draw both eyes, you draw both circles, but I'm just going to concentrate on one eye for now. Draw one line, just draw a cross, and that usually gives you some reference points. And then, because some eyes will start here, but the other corner will end up here or here or here, depending on the type of the eye. So just having like a reference really does help. And then from here, what we want to do is, so I'm going to do what's called the monolid, and this is a type of eye with no second eyelid, basically. And you're just basically drawing a very neat kind of curve, like this. And from there, there's different ways to draw the pupil and all that sort of stuff. I never draw the bottom part of the eyelid, or if I do it, I do very subtly. So when you draw the pupil or the cornea or all the actual eye bit, the top half is usually cut off unless they're looking down. But for the sake of this exercise, we're just going to pretend that they're looking straight ahead. So draw a nice thick line, like basically almost a semicircle, a little bit bigger than a semicircle, and then you've got the bottom part here. Then what you want to draw is a circle, because that's where the highlight of the eye is. We're just doing this in general terms. And then from here, inside that circle, you want to fill in, and that will create the is it the iris, or whatever, the part that you see through. Sorry, this is not very descriptive. If you want to add more detail, you can just add lines. That typically makes it look a little bit more like an eye. And then from here, you can, if you want to, just add a little bit of a line underneath to implicate that there's a bottom of the eye. If you're being more detailed, you add this line underneath, which is like the bag, like slightly the bags under the eyes, and you can add just that corner there. And then from there, if you can add eyelashes. Typically monolids don't have eyelashes, so I'll just do that in a different one. And when you do this, you just copy over to the other side if you want to draw the other eye. And this is going to be a bit trickier because you're going to have to reverse your process, basically. And it's not always going to be perfect, but that's not something we want to worry about. Here. And then maybe a little bit underneath. And then just like that. Okay. And don't worry if they're not totally even when you start. It's all about practice and practice and practice, and then you'll get used to it. So yeah, this eye is slightly over by too much because I'm looking between two things. So I'm going to keep moving on to the different eye shapes that I have here. So that is what's called a monolid. And that basically means that there's no overhang on the eye. There's no like second eyelid. Usually this is this is more like for Asian eyes. So we can write Asian. Next would be Upturned. I think this is more European style. So for this one, the corner of the eye is here, and the other corner is about here. There is a little bit of an offset. And what you want to do is draw like this, around, and then here. And then this line can come down here if you need it to, and then we drop that line there, and from here we just add this is like a very quick way of capturing eyes. And then from here there's a second eyelid like this. All right, and from here we can add some eyelashes. Now, eyelashes are a great way to make females or women or all that look much prettier. It's also a great way to feminize a guy if you want to draw a guy with more feminine features. Typically, if you're doing cartooning or caricatures, you want to leave out eyelashes on a guy, but you want to really put them in for girls. So when you do eyelashes, just imagine you're drawing like a curve like this. And that's all there is to it, really. Just draw curves. If you want to make it dramatic, you make it bigger. And then maybe change direction as you come this way. You can avoid drawing this line if you want, and you can just draw the eyelashes, and that implies the bottom of the eye there. So if you're wondering why I don't draw, so I'm going to try and do this without those lines to be confusing. If you're wondering why I don't draw the whole bottom of the eye like this, it is because that's too much information, and it can be very, it can look good, but you have to be very subtle about it. And when you're starting, you're never really going to be that controlled or subtle about it. So it'll end up looking very weird on the overall. But if we avoid that, less is more, is what I'm basically saying. The less you have, the better it'll end up looking. Especially with faces, the less detail you put into it, sometimes the better it can come out, because then the mind can fill in the gaps a lot better than we can draw them. But again, if you really do practice, if you're doing super detailed, this is not really the guide for that. You want to look up realistic drawing guides for that. This is just trying to capture it really fast if you're in a life drawing situation or any sort of thing like that. I'm going to quickly try and cover the rest of the eye shapes. So again, circle, line. This one is going to be about even. So straight line, and then over. And then what ends up happening is the second eyelid is part of the top eyelid, but it just hangs over like this a little bit. So it's important that you do practice the different eye shapes when you are drawing, because it will make life a lot easier for you when you are a lot easier for you when you are trying to draw them fast. And then next one will be hooded. So this one is like a more extreme version of the downturned. The way to distinguish this one is just like a little bit more over there. And you'll see less of the top half of the eye. And then you can even add this curve here. And it always helps to add some more context, like eyebrows and all that, but for now this is just an eye tutorial. And 2 more to go. I'll do them real quick. Round is a very important one. Basically goes like this and goes like this. You don't really see the bottom. You can add eyelashes to fix that. Just running out of time here, so I'll do the last one, freehanding it a bit. But yeah, do practice these. These will help out a lot. If all else fails, just draw this line. Just draw a curve like that, and it usually captures the idea pretty well. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Catch you all next time.